I didn't want to start the journey. I had, you name it, I've tried it. I knew that my mindset needed a change. And even when I went to get the lap band, they sent me to a psychologist, and I was trying to explain, I don't think this is going to work if I don't have the mindset change. And he said, well, I'm not here for that. And so when I was introduced to this through Michelle and I met Lori, I just thought it was another scam. I'll be honest. One, how can anyone be so peppy and lovely like Lori is? And I came into it very negative, and I didn't even tell Michelle until like a year later. The only reason I stuck with it is because I did want to support her, but two, I thought she would bail long before I would. And the big thing is 200 pounds is great. I love it. But what I love even more is that it's changed my mindset, not just with healthy living, but I've changed where I have my own business now, along with Optavia in wood carving, something I would have never done. Michelle's went into private practice, which you would have never done, because we gained confidence and so much more knowledge from these. And through that time as coaching, a good friend of mine, Jim, that we went to high school together, and that had been watching. And I'm just excited with Jim, because Jim came into this where I came into it negative, but I accepted the mindset, and that changed me. Jim came in with a positive mindset of, I've got this, and very disciplined with this, where he's had huge success of 85 pounds. And Jim, I'm going to turn it over to you, because I love your enthusiasm and your story. This is just amazing.
Thank you, Mark. I've been watching Mark's Facebook with seeing that he lost the 200 pounds, that he kept it off for the 3 years time of not going up and down. And I've had issues with weight for quite a few years. And I said to my wife about it. We looked at the money issue, and she said, we throw money away on things that don't matter. Our health should matter. And so I jumped on it, had a book from her sister who was in the program a couple years ago, was reading all of it before I even got the package, so that I had already had a schedule set up. I knew that I needed to pack my Jeep, pack my work van with fuelings when they came, so that no matter where I was at, I could always have them. One of the main things that it seems like for deprivation is when other people are eating or having cake, whatever that is, I didn't want to feel that deprivation. So what I did was, that's when I would have my fueling and would have a bar, so that at the same time they're having cake, I'm having a bar, and not feel like I was depriving myself of it. And so I stayed very disciplined. About 3 weeks into the program, I went to Mark and said, okay, I don't understand how this is healthy, okay, or unhealthy, because I wanted to understand, was some of the fuelings healthy and some of them weren't? And he told me I was totally missing the point of the cheating part of it. And I've kept that clear out of my mind, that I wasn't going to deny myself of anything. I made choices to not have those things. So I just considered the things that were necessity was my fuelings, not the other things that were going to hurt my body. Losing the 85 pounds, I can squat like I used to play catcher for softball and get back up to where I used to have to crawl over to a chair and help myself up because I have bad knees. Well, having 85 pounds less carrying on those bad knees has been a wonder. So I just simplified the process in having my fuelings and not having anything else outside of that. And so I still struggle with portion control of making sure that I weigh the meat and have the 5, 6, and 7 ounces on the program, but I try to stay with not having anything else outside of that. And so I've had a Pringle chip because my grandson fed it to me and before I realized. But other than that, I pretty much stayed. And that's why I feel I have the success that I do, getting the weight loss where I want so that I can actually get on the floor and play with my grandkids and do the things that I want to do. So I'm very excited about the program. My wife and daughter-in-law just started a week and a half ago. So, and we've had to work it out with us that it's not a competition, it's a journey that we do together so that we're not comparing what each other lose on a weekly basis. It's what we can do for each other to live a better life. So thank you for allowing me to share my journey, because it's been great so far, and I look forward to more goals met down the road. So thank you, Mark, for sharing this with me.
So awesome. So awesome. Thank you so much for that, Jim. It's so awesome to you just summed it all up. You just summed up what everything was in the program here. And, you know, what's so great about this is just that this is that mindset. And I asked for you today to share because you've accomplished a lot. I mean, losing 85 pounds really shows discipline. And, you know, when we're jumping into our journey, we have that choice. So today's topic is going to be discipline versus deprivation. And I'm going to share my screen and just kind of talk a little bit about the differences here. So I'm going to start with deprivation because when I first got started, that's, you know, that's kind of what I was focusing on. I was very food focused. And as we were talking about, you know, getting like last week, we were talking about what are you focusing on? I was focusing on the deprivation, and you can see like the lack of, right? What we're thinking about is I'm going to be missing my food. I'm going to be missing my alcohol. I'm going to be missing social events. I'm going to be missing all of the things. Okay. So when we're focused on that, then we're not going to see all of the things around us that are happening within us. And so, you know, just listening to Jim's story, listening to Mark's story, releasing that much weight is so empowering because you're focusing on the life you're creating. So if you're in that social situation, you could easily think about, I'm missing out. Here I am. Okay. Oh, I'm going to just wait until after Valentine's Day to get started, or I'm going to wait and start Monday. That's a habit cycle that most of us think because we're just focused on the deprivation part of it. Now, I want to talk a little bit more about discipline because, you know, when we're thinking about the structure of what the program provides to us, then we're going to be focusing more on like the life we're creating, the disciplines, the gift that is giving to you. Discipline is truly a gift. It doesn't have to feel so just like, oh, some people don't like to follow rules, right? So it's just all in perspective in the way that we look at it. So I'm going to have Carter jump off mute. Carter has military experience, and I thought he was going to be such a wonderful person because I just respect him so much. He follows structure like a champ. I learn a lot from him, just the way he shows up. And so, Carter, will you jump off and just share with us a little bit about what you've learned and maybe some examples of what discipline looks like for you in your life?
Thank you, Larry. Good morning, everybody. It's good to see a lot of shining faces on here this morning. It's a beautiful Saturday morning. And I want to say right up front, it just takes a lot of good discipline to be here on a Saturday, right? You could be doing so many other things. As Lori said, I'm retired Navy. Did my time there. I still work with the Department of Defense. So I'm still associated with the military a lot. Military discipline, Lori alluded a little bit to, is more about instilling, like we in the military instill discipline for people who come from a background of not really having discipline. So what I'm going to talk about is my son. So my son's name is Carter Green as well. He went in the Marine Corps this past summer, and it was his decision in high school. He was just kind of one day, he said, Dad, I'm going to join the Marine Corps. My wife and I were both shocked by this because he had never talked about it. But so he was a typical teenager. How many of you have teenage kids out there? Put a yes or a one in the chat. Teenagers. So he was all over the place. never really organized in anything, leaving messes. He was late really for just about everything except for food. You know, he would just never where he needed to be. So his saying he wanted to join the Marine Corps was phenomenal and scary. So what he did is he joined the Marine Corps. He went in this past June. He went down to Parris Island, South Carolina in the middle of summer. If nobody's ever been down there, it's hot and nasty. And he ended up in boot camp, and he, along with the other people going through boot camp with him, began immediate discipline. That's what they instill on them immediately. So at 8 o'clock at night, the first night there for a teenager, they had to go to bed 2000, and then in the morning 0300 or 3 a.m. they had to get up, and within 15 minutes they had to have their uniforms on, their teeth brushed, their everything done, and be outside to start drilling, running, marching, learning, listening, learn how to march. And in all that, what they're doing is instilling or learning discipline. So he was told when to clean his uniform, how to clean his uniform, when to go to the bathroom, when to eat, how much time he could eat. But about halfway through boot camp, this conglomeration of young kids all learned a unified discipline. They all learned that this was on them, really. They learned that if they combined their ideas, what they've learned, their disciplines, they could create or drive toward this is what we need to do. And they took ownership of that discipline. And that's what the Navy or the military teaches us. They teach us discipline for a purpose. What is the why? What is our objective? What is the target? And so in everyday life, that's where discipline comes in as well. So in the Navy or military, we learn discipline for the purpose of protecting this beautiful country. But the side effects of it is that it instills instinctive habits. So what I mean by that is, you know, they have us get up at a certain time. I'm retired Navy. I've been out of the Navy since 1995. I still get up at 4:30. 4:25, the alarm, my brain alarm goes off and I'm up, and that kind of is not yucky. So I almost said a non-op to be a word, but anyway, so it's a great side effect because it instills in us certain habits that just happen. So what I mean is, y'all know, if you go through life and you have done something, you've made a decision and you start marching in that direction, you respond immediately to whatever trigger comes out. So I'll give you an example. My son now is in a school. He called me the other day and he said, Dad, I know I'm new, just out of boot camp. I'm in school, and somebody the other day was on the phone. And so what the trigger was is that they said something about attention, and he popped tall, which means stand, at attention. And the conversation on the phone, though, was about paying better attention. It wasn't even in conversation to him. So he popped tall. So daily discipline instills distinctive habits. That's what the military and just having discipline does. But you don't have to have a military or be in a military to be disciplined. There are many examples of people out there that put discipline in place and achieve great things. They gave up. Time sucks, right? That's pulling Facebook, sitting in front of a TV, engaging in everybody's drama that's around you. They set their mind and attention to get whatever it is done, and they get it done. And that's what we're learning here, right? So we want to learn to be instinctive and respond to the disciplines that we put in place. So today, if I was to yell attention, how many of you would say to or pop to attention? Let me say it this way. If I was to yell, you can do it, what would be your response? Have you set your intention and began preparing yourself, disciplining yourself to jump up and say right back, yes, I can? Thank you, Lori. Now, I appreciate this time.
Boom.
That's
amazing. Awesome. Amazing. Thank you so much, Carter. I love what you just said there. If you were to say you can do it, what goes through in you guys' minds? Like, put that in the chat. Because sometimes, well, I hope I can. Well, like, that shows your level of commitment, you guys, right? Like, so where are you in that when we say that out loud? Like, you can do it, right? Thank you for that example of like daily disciplines brings distinct habits. It's, you guys, this is what we are talking about here, right? So I'm going to share my screen, and I want to start with a self-check. Okay. when you look in the mirror, let's think you're thinking about your health journey right now. Okay. And you look in the mirror. Are you just like super negative? Like, this is a self check. We have to look inward to see what our results are. Are we like moaning and complaining and this is so hard and I'm so busy and I'm so overwhelmed and I just, right, whatever the things are? If that's the case, you are going to have a negative result. It's going to be a hard journey. Okay. And this is kind of some hard talk early in the morning on a Saturday morning. So, but it's the reality. Okay. Because we don't want to just live in fantasy land and expect that our negativity is going to bring us a positive result, right? We can either enjoy the journey or we can kick and scream through the journey. I'm going to use Mark Alcorn as an example. And we joke about it now, so I'm not like throwing him under the bus. He was so negative, you guys. He was so negative. And the check-in calls were like, he didn't really want to talk to me. He was super negative, just did what he had to do because he thought he had to do it. And do you know why? Because he's lost 150 pounds a couple times in his life. So he's bringing all that baggage to this journey and expecting that he's going to get that same result again, right? But when he started shifting and he started looking at seeing the changes and starting to kind of like shed away all of those negative concepts that he had in the past, those negative examples of what he went through in the past, and started looking at this from fresh new lenses, fresh new perspective, then his attitude started becoming more positive. So you guys, you can kick and scream your way through this program, or you can just say, you know what, if all these crazy people are getting the results and they're happy and they're living their best life, maybe I can too. So maybe I need to shed away all of those past experiences thinking that it's gonna be hard. It doesn't have to be hard. Just like last week, focusing on the dot. If we say it's hard, it's gonna be hard. I've always struggled with my weight. Every time I lose weight, it gives me a negative result because I gain my weight back again. If those things are leading you every single day, you're gonna get the same result that you have in the past. But if you have a positive attitude, you guys, this is just simple, and it's a very simple concept, but it's so challenging because, like I talked about last week, being that closed pistachio net, if we're closed, we can't permeate all of these new concepts into our mind. So the first thing we want to do is do that self-check and ask, do I have a positive attitude towards this? Or am I a closed pistachio net that no new information can come in? All you need to do is be a little bit open. We're not saying you have to be like totally open and say that, oh, I've got this and I'm healed and I got my first box and I'm just, this is going to be the easiest thing. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is when we're looking at those pistachios and there's one that's just got a little bit of a crack open in there, that's all you need to be right now. That's all you need to be, is just to start thinking and believing and trusting that if I follow the structure and if I follow the simple disciplines of every day, I am going to get that wonderful result that I'm looking for. So now when we say you can do it, hopefully you're going to make the choice and make the decision, because it always begins with a decision. Yes, of course I can do it. If it's working for everyone else, it's going to work for me. And that's one of the things that I love about these community calls. And you get to hear people's stories like Mark, and you get to say, well, if I'm coming to this with disbelief and he came to this with disbelief and he was able to shift, then maybe I can shift too. Maybe I can get long-term results like Mark's getting. Maybe I can do what he's doing because he's on the exact same program that I'm on. Okay. And that's why I wanted to use two of those gentlemen to begin with, because like Mark said, Jim came to it with a positive attitude. He started reading even before he got started on program because his level of commitment was super high. Okay. So apply this to yourself, you guys, because we get to choose. If we want to continue struggling and living on the struggle bus, then you don't need to change anything because you're going to get those results, right? But if you're looking to chase freedom in your life, and you're wondering what that freedom could feel like, to not have to have that burden of losing weight, or having that burden on your shoulders of being tired and exhausted every day, or having that burden on your shoulders of just, I'm so overwhelmed every single day. You have that decision and you can make that decision. So I got this analogy, or it looks like I chose an image that I wasn't supposed to take. So sorry about that. So anyway, so I was thinking when I was putting this all together of a teeter-totter. We've all been on a teeter-totter as a kid, right? And what we're thinking about, like, let's just say that you're up at the top of the teeter-totter and we got these flighty dreams and we're thinking about, oh my gosh, I hope one day and I wish one day, and we do this exercise called wouldn't it be cool if, right? And we could dream all we want to dream, guys, but it begins with making a decision. If you're on that teeter-totter and you want to go down, you got to make that decision. I'm going down. I'm taking that person down, right? Like, I'm going down. I'm making the decision. I'm making that commitment. And if it's sometimes we make that decision and then an event comes up, or it's Valentine's Day and your sweetheart brings you some chocolates. I always eat chocolate on Valentine's Day, and we let go of that commitment. Okay, so what happens, we get that teeter-totter going, we get that oscillating back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, right? But when we have the disciplines and we are rock solid and why I want it, I want this because I'm sick and tired of the burden weighing me down. Because you know what, guys, that burden on your shoulders is like 100 times heavier than the weight you're carrying every single day. I'm just going to tell you that. And when you let go of that burden, and you let go of that overwhelm, because it is a choice, and I'm going to talk about that in a minute. When you let go of that, you're going to start seeing the freedoms in your life. So I'm going to let Garrett talk about this for a second, because when we first got married, I had like a 4 a.m. shift. I used to work for the airlines. And how many times did I hit that snooze button every single morning?
Countless times.
And his attitude, he's a man of discipline. He was a military dude too. And I was not. I was very emotional, always reacting in a place of emotion. And he's more of the disciplined one. But do you want to explain how like this can apply to
Well, it's just a great metaphor. If you, all right, whatever your set time is, you know, Carter, you wake up at 4:25 now because it's ingrained in your mind. So, you know, the alarm clock's collecting dust, but there's so many people, my kids do it. You push the snooze button. So, all right, you have to get up at 6, but you push the snooze button. Oh, I'm just going to sleep for 15 more minutes. Myself, the alarm rings. If I need the alarm rings and I'm up, because I know once you're up, you're up. And it's something I try to teach the kids. When you're up, you're up. So you're not doing yourself any good. Lori was a serial snoozer.
I was.
Snooze
and
again, snooze again.
It was miserable, right? Because then like the emotion I was allowing myself to feel every single time was like, oh, just 5 more minutes. I don't want to get up. I don't want to do this. I'm not ready to take on my day. I'm this and that. You guys, it's all I'm doing is like allowing all this ridiculous emotion to start my day. The first thing you put in your brain, first thing you put in your mouth, you crave the rest of the day. Right.
Absolutely.
So I had to learn that from him. And every time he said that to me, he drove me nuts, because I'm just like, you don't get it. You don't get it. I don't want to get up at 4 a.m. You know, and then like now I'm up before he is every single morning. And do you know why? Because I'm so driven by my why. I love my life. I love my life so much that I can't wait to get up in the morning. I can't wait to start my day. I can't wait to help bless you guys with some inspiration. I can't wait to make a difference in life. I can't wait to fulfill my purpose. I can't wait to get up.
Mm-hmm.
I love my morning routine. I was not that person before, guys. And there's a saying, the way you do one thing is the way you do everything. That's a hard one to swallow. It's a hard one to swallow. I was sloppy in life. I was not disciplined. I was sloppy. I was unorganized. I'm a free spirit. I just, however things happen. I allowed my emotions to dictate my results. Okay. And so just think about these things. These are food for thought. Okay. Overwhelm as a choice is a very, very important thing that I want you guys to take away from this today. And another thing I would love for you to write down. If you're writing things down, write this down, please. And if you're not writing things down, please write this down too. Okay. I create my own experience. Say it again. I create my own experience. In every decision that you make, every time that something, because guess what? We are living in a world where things are getting hit at us left and right. I create my own experience. When people are saying things to you and judgment is cast on you or this or that, I create my own experience. You get bad news, I create my own experience. Do I need to be overwhelmed right now? What is in my control? What is out of my control? We got to ask ourselves these things. These questions are structure. These questions, if you ask them, are simple disciplines that can change your life.
What you think about, you bring about. What you focus on grows. So if you focus on great things, they're usually going to happen. So, but if you focus on negative things, pretty much everything that's negative, you're going to be hypersensitive to it. So
absolutely. And you don't have to be overwhelmed. Again, it's a habit cycle, guys. I lived in overwhelm my entire life. I didn't know any different. It's like living on a completely different planet. It's like I'm asking you right now to go living from planet Earth to going and living on Mars and expecting that you're going to be okay there. That's how weird it is. It's weird at first. I'm like, what do you mean overwhelm is a choice? What do you mean? That makes no sense. I'm being bombarded with work and kids and this and this and this and this. What do you mean? Of course I'm overwhelmed. I've got 1,000 things I need to do in a day and I only have 24 hours and I need to sleep. Okay, that's most of our concepts. And the reason I'm talking about this concept, you guys, is because in order for you to get a healthy body, it begins with a healthy mind. Without a healthy mind, you are not going to get a healthy body. And unfortunately, people come to us and they go straight for the healthy body. They think that those beautiful, amazing feelings, which they are going to heal you. They're going to heal your body. They're going to help reduce inflammation. They're going to help hopefully reduce medication. They're going to help you lose weight. They're going to help you do those things. However, the mindset is what is going to help you live in that attitude of gratitude and understand I don't need to be overwhelmed. If I lead with structure, if I get up a little bit earlier and I get my day planned and I implement those simple disciplines into my life, the rest is going to be easy. So push the easy button. It's a choice. If you want to push the hard button or the easy button, you push the easy button and you're going to get the result. So it begins with the decision. Wake up and get super crystal clear on the life that you want to create. Focus on what you want instead of what you don't want, okay? And you got to know why it's important to you guys. If you don't see the value in it, if you don't see the value of having a healthy life, you're never going to get that healthy life. So focus on what that's going to do. How is that going to impact people around you, your family, yourself, your marriage, your relationships, okay? You got to focus on that. You got to take that time to think about it in the moment. Instead of grabbing that glass of wine, think about this. Is this leading me to my goals or away from my goals? Okay? That stop, challenge, choose. That is a simple discipline that you can implement into your life. And you get to choose to push that easy button. Now, so in 2 weeks from now, we're going to be really diving into element 4 and 5. So I would like to ask you all to start diving into element 4 and 5. Okay. And you can get the recording as well. Ask your coach where you can get the recording of element 4 and 5 from our Habits of Health library. Okay. And also, I really encourage watching both of those, getting into your life book, because, oh my gosh, these concepts have completely changed our world. I'm just letting you know, this is what you can really get out of this program, you guys, if you take the time for the simple disciplines. 1 page a day. The books are this thick for a reason. We don't want you to get through with them in 30 days. Okay. We're not looking for diets. We're looking for long-term health. Okay. So 1 page a day, we're going to really hit this hard in 2 weeks. And that's why I'm giving this to you 2 weeks early, because it's concepts that are going to change your world. And this is what I really highly encourage for you guys to do. So always going to leave you with this: stop, challenge, and choose. This discipline, as long as you stop, now it's going to help you to make those conscious choices instead of unconsciously sleepwalking through life and doing things the way you have always done them before. If we want a different result, we got to start doing things a little bit differently. So I just want to leave you with this, and we're going to wrap it up.
Unmute my phone.
What I want to leave you with is this. Sometimes we feel that we are depriving ourselves from wine, from cookies, from brownies, from food, whatever those things are. But I want to ask you this and offer you a new perspective. What if you started looking at it like, I'm depriving myself from living my best life? Okay. Depriving yourself of wine or cookies, or depriving yourself from living your best life. You deserve it. We are giving you all the tools you need. Making that decision to choose to use them is up to you. It's in your hands. And you get to make that decision and that choice, because that gift, it's a gift that you're giving yourself. So quit looking at it like you are depriving yourself and start looking at it like you are life giving back to yourself, to your family, to everyone around you, because you deserve it. So when Carter says you can do it, when we say that to you, you can do it, how committed are you to saying, heck yes, I can do it. I've got everything in front of me right now, right? So let's do it, guys. All right, have a great week. Congrats for taking time this Saturday morning to invest in yourself. All right, love you guys. Have a good one.